spelled your name with a W. Sorry. Right?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Be sure to banter for the camera, guys. I don't even know that we'll hear it, but you know. That's why you wanted the delay.
Kind of. Oh no.
On chain.
This is really bad.
For whom?
Me, the squares are not set up for notation. You let me beat you while notating this.
Whatever happens, I'm gonna call Sean the chess Jedi because of his attire.
Need tactics.
Little back.
Yeah, that's always good. Give away your plan to the enemy. Yeah. Gabe, don't fall for any H-con shenanigans. Come on. His king's still in the middle of the board, so...
Cramped. I'm gonna guess that's where I am.
I like it. I like it.
I was thinking so long. Oh yeah.
You guys play?
I didn't.
We actually run a club. about Charlotte. About 6 of them. You're welcome.
Thanks for starting. Come here.
I'll show you soon.
Say that better. Do that.
I don't know if it works, but it looks really cute. It does. It's a really hard move to find.
Under a minute. Under a minute. He's attacking your worst piece on the board. I'd say thank you after he took that piece.
That's really good. Actually, that's a great line.
Castles anyway.
He has 2 rocks in the center of the board.
Nice.
I mean, I don't know what that does.
Welcome back to the channel. If I could think of one word to describe this game, I think I would choose psychological. And the reason for that is that Sean played this game against Gabe with such a rich position. And while we were playing the game, you'll even hear Sean say during the video that this game isn't very good chess. It's slow, it's boring, it's whatever. Which, spoiler alert, is kind of a hallmark of the French defense. Sorry, Gabe. But Sean was able to engineer just some great positional play in this game. And you saw that Gabe was really having some trouble getting his position the way where he wanted it to be, making his attacks come alive, things of that nature. And Sean was really driving this game for quite a while into the middle game. Something else that also deserves credit to both of the players is that these players played so many of the top moves from Stockfish, top 1 or 2 recommendations from Stockfish in this game, especially in the opening, and again later towards the advanced middle game, towards the end of the game. The only thing that stopped this game from completing was that Sean lost on time. But this was definitely a marathon. So there are a couple of critical positions in the game, and I'm going to show them here. So we get to this position where the rook comes to e1 to attack the queen on e5. And in this position, Gabe takes his queen back to b8. And Sean plays bishop to e3. This is a losing move, and I think the reason that Stockfish doesn't really like this is for the reason that White's rook and queen are kind of boxed out from the action by the two bishops. Notice the two bishops are attacking nothing, and they're really defending nothing as well, because the knight will not come to a dark square, and any light square that it comes to will be defended. This bishop, this light square bishop, can attack the knight at any time and can force some uncomfortable positions for White. And how White will ever break through the pawn structure here is yet to be determined because of this bishop move, blocking in the two centrally located queen and rook. Should White have played another move? Stockfish actually says queen f3 is better here. It keeps White's advantage mostly alive. And from this point, you have bishop takes the knight. White's bishop recaptures with check. Knight to c6. And the difference here is now the rook is still alive, skewering the king. This pawn is available en prise from the queen. The knight is pinned with the bishop, and the queen is stuck on f8. Sorry, not f8, b8, doing nothing. And things are not looking good for black. If he castles to the king side, the h pawn is coming down the board. The dark square bishop wants to come alive at some point. The a rook will come over to the c file, take advantage of a semi-open file. And White's just really crashing through this at some point in the game. The line continues with queen takes d5, queen to d6, queen back to f3, bishop e7 finally developing, bishop to f4 attacking the queen, queen to c5, bishop takes c6 with check, pawn recaptures, and rook to c1. And in this position, black should play queen to d5 to try to keep the pawn. But how will black ever defend this loose pawn? White has ideas of going after the g7 pawn with moves like queen to g6, queen to g5. The e6 pawn is still weak thanks to the rook on e1. And black's dark square bishop is also nicely raking into the queen side of the board. And black is really just not doing good here. If black decides to castle either side, he has problems. If black castles king side, in this position, this is just straight losing, with the evaluation bar going wild. If black castles the other way, it's even worse because there is no protection for the king on the queen side of the board. And actually from this position, it's mate in 11. All right, next position we have is move 24. This is the last portion of the game. So in this position, White has opened up the king side, not quite enough to get a checkmate, and White is actually losing here by negative 4.9. But this position is very, very rich. For example, the evaluation with Stockfish right now only applies. Black will only keep this advantage if black plays queen to c5, opting for a queen trade. However, if black plays anything else, this game is much more even. And in the game, black actually plays queen to c6. And this is where the game ends because Sean loses on time. But notice that playing this move takes the position from completely winning for black to draw for white and black. And the line would continue with knight captures on d5, queen captures, queen recaptures, the e-pawn retakes, rook takes the bishop on e7, rook f7, attacking the rook and defending the other bishop, rook to d1, doubling up. Sorry, rook d to e1, rook a to f8, doubling up, protection of the rook on f7, bishop d2, ready to attack the king side, and rook takes on e7, rook takes on e7. And in this position, again, we're keeping that draw possibility very alive. Look, we have opposite colored bishops, and we have an extra pawn for black. But this pawn is isolated, and the rook will need to come to a dark square to protect the pawn. And white will always be able to attack that dark square and potentially get after the queenside pawns. So this is very, very drawish here. This pawn also looks a little bit loose because the rook has to defend one pawn or another. Very drawish, and that's how razor's edge this game really was, and why the element of psychology got into these players, because in reality Sean is not as good a player as Gabe. Gabe is a fantastic player. He's very well versed on tactics, on opening strategies, openings in general. He has kind of a wide variety of openings that he can actually play and play well. And Sean gets a little bit intimidated by this because he doesn't have as much opening repertoire or deep understanding of the game as Gabe does. And I think that is what really put the pin in this game for Gabe, despite the fact that over the board, they were playing very, very closely matched for most of this game. If you enjoyed that game, please consider subscribing to the channel. Please like this video and share a comment below if you saw any lines in the game that we didn't cover in the analysis. We'll see you in the next one.